Welcome to the Newton and Willows FC podcast. Each episode we'll be bringing you news, reviews and previews and everything Newton and Willows FC. The boys, the girls, the men, the ladies, the kids, everyone. Are you a player? Are you a coach? Are you a fan? Come on and listen to this amazing episode. Hi and welcome to the Newton and Willows FC podcast with me, Rob Fludder. This week, I'm delighted to welcome 3 guests to the pod, 2 of which are brand new and 2 of which have Newton and Willows FC DNA running all the way through. We have Councillor David Banks and Councillor Janette Banks and Mr. Andy Tiver. 3 amigos, welcome to the pod. How are we?
Fine, thank you.
Very good, thank you.
So, we are here for a special reason. I'm not going to spoil that. Mr. Tither, why are we here on the pod today? What news are you going to share with Newton and Willows FC podcast listeners?
Well, Rob, this is perhaps one of the most momentous milestones we've ever had as a volunteer organisation. I'm delighted to announce that the football club has been awarded the status via King Charles himself for the King's Award for Voluntary Service.
Amazing. From King Charles. Newton and Willows, King Charles.
Yeah.
Just try and put that as a connection.
It's got a ring to it, hasn't it? Yeah.
It has got a ring to it. And we're celebrating this news, and we've invited the councillors down with us today because they've played a special part in this, haven't they?
Absolutely. It's been a long process to do this, and I think the reason why we wanted to come onto the pod is actually just to give the detail, because the headline is fantastic within itself, but obviously on our social media platforms there's only so much information that you can give out, and to all of our members, to all of our proud listeners, we wanted to kind of go into the detail of what this is, what it means, and ultimately how we got here, which is why I invited the 2 councillors who've been absolutely fundamental in getting us to this stage, in terms of firstly nominating us, which was an honour within itself, to endorsing it and supporting us through that whole process, to ultimately being awarded that status, which is fantastic.
Amazing. So let's make sure we bring the councillors in. So David, you were instrumental in this, and so just tell the listeners a little bit about what part did you play to help support the club with this prestigious award.
Well, I actually nominated the club for this award. It must be 18 months ago now, something like that. So it's carried on from there basically, and then my wife Janette actually endorsed the award. Yep. So it's basically from there.
Amazing. And so 18 months ago, you put the club forward. What made you think, yeah, it's the right thing to do?
Well, to be honest, I've seen where the club have actually come from. I remember it in the days, I think it was the early 1990s, and it was it originally started at the Sunbeam pub in Wargrave, and there was only a few teams at that point. And I've actually seen the club grow now to where it's got, I think, over 40 teams now. Mm. It's got to over 100 volunteers, none of who are paid to do the job, but do it for the actual love of the sport. And also, I think it's the standing within the community that the club's got. I think it's thought of in a great way. And it's not just the community, it's also with other associations such as the Liverpool County FA, Warrington FA, Cheshire FA and Sports England as well. All these people think what a great club Newton FC is. So that's the reason why I nominated it. And not only because, obviously, of all it does for both the children of our community and adults as well.
Absolutely. And I can say from someone that's maybe on the outside that it's not. I'm new to the club. Okay, I'm pretty new to the town as well. And I will say, I drink in a local pubs. I go to local restaurants, and it's definitely got a great name. And coming down to the club and being associated in some way for such a small period of time, I can feel that all the way through. And the guests that we've had on that associated with the club, it's definitely all the way through there. When they talk about the club, they talk about it with a smile and enthusiasm. So I think that's matched from what you're saying. You can see it from one
It's
side.
something what does get into your blood.
I can see that and I can feel it. And then, Councillor Janette, you endorsed this, okay? So it must have been easy to endorse.
Extremely easy to endorse. I've had dealings with this club for a very long time, almost since the beginning, because although the coaches were mostly men and it was boys who were playing the football at that time, all the volunteer mums and all the families used to get involved in all the fundraising, because if that fundraising isn't up there, the club can't carry on. Mm-hmm. So we used to do all the barbecues for the bonfire night and all the buffets for the dues that we used to put on, and wash the kits and everything else that's entailed with a football club. But I know how much this is all also done for inclusivity in this town, because we now have girls' teams playing and girl and lady coaches. And one of my first jobs as mayor was to actually come down here and present the trophy to the women's team here, which was a great honour. So it was lovely to be able to help during the last year when I was mayor. But I've always been in touch with them and always supported whatever they've done.
That's amazing. So the journey that you'd have seen individually, collectively, must be amazing and something you must be very proud of. And to see where the club is today, and obviously there's a massive future for the club. And Andy and the guys, they've sort of projected that in some way. But just to see that journey must be very special to the both of you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
special, yeah. I mean, obviously, I saw it from the beginning. So I've seen from what humble beginnings it came from. And for it to grow into what it is now, and not just a football club, but as you can see, we're watching tennis. We look through the window tonight and cricket on the main front, all different sports. It's grown substantially from what it was. So it's all the good for Newton, to be honest.
Yeah. And also, they've been a big help with things that have gone through council, like the new mugger. Newton Sports played a big part in getting so that the Liverpool FA and Sports England gave the money so that, along with the council, that they could create that new fabulous training facility for, everybody who lives in this town and borough, really, because you get teams from everywhere, don't you?
Yeah, we're really proud to be part of that, and it would be wrong not to mention the other football clubs within the area. Vulcan and Ulster also played their part, but it was an honour to be part of that process. It's something that the town desperately needed. We're very lucky that we've got usage there on Saturday and Sunday, and it's just wonderful actually to see players play football more regularly. As part of this, I've been going in the loft and asking mum and dad for Polaroid photos, because that's how old I am. And I'm sure you've been doing the same, because I actually want to highlight the journey of, this is 33 years in the making. It was formed in 1992, looking kind of at the history in the archives. And I remember playing on some god-awful pitches back in the day that if it even thought about raining, right, it was off, right?
Yeah.
But now, obviously, the facility that we've got at Newton Health, hopefully some irons in the fire, which I'm not going to talk about. Our listeners and members know what my aspirations are from a facilities point of view. But to kind of see that side of it and ultimately encourage more people to play sport, because there's not a fear now of a game being called off as much, even in the Great British Summer that we have. So it's definitely been massive.
I also think there's a good support within the other teams that are here, because when the football club came here, they'd never had a football club. It was always hockey, rugby, tennis, bowls, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah, bowls, yeah.
But then when the football team came along, everybody was a bit unsure how it would go along. But the football club has actually been instrumental in a lot of the work to do the club up.
Yeah.
And a lot of the guys and women have been helpful in that respect, haven't they?
Yeah.
So it's not only one thing. It's been lots and lots of different things to make it much a more cohesive sports club.
It's kind of come into the community as well.
Yeah.
I mean, as Andy will know, they've gone into schools as well, haven't they?
Yeah.
And obviously helped them out as well with coaching and so forth. And you've also gone into disabilities now as well.
Yeah.
You know, so that's another thing. That's another string to your bow. And all these things can only be good for the people of Newton and the community, really, can't it? You know,
I couldn't agree more. And in a time where, you know, there's a lot of negativity out in the world and you know, less opportunity, it feels, than ever before to do things. And we've got opportunity for children at like 2 years old to walk in football, you know, to the more mature people that want to play, to pan disability, females playing. There's not too many bases that are not covered and touched. And that journey, it takes a lot of time, effort, vision, adversity, I'm sure, at times.
Yeah. It's been hard work. Getting sponsors was one of the most difficult at the beginning, wasn't it?
But all that hard work is paying off. And, you know, for the hundreds of children that are coming through that have a safe space, an environment to play a sport, get out and about, and the adults to play comfortably, the social aspect as well, which I think is really important today. I see so many children, I keep saying this on tablets, it's nice that you see this. And this recognition is massive.
It's not just children, it's adults as well.
Absolutely.
And it gives them a way forward.
Yeah.
I do agree with all the children. It does give them something to aim at. It does give them, I feel, some kind of discipline as well. You know, and it gives them that thing of being part of a team and mucking in together. You know,
absolutely.
And that's for me, that's one of the great things of the club.
100%. Because it feels like, and maybe we make a big deal of this, and I got no evidence to back this up, but we've lost a little bit of that. That's what it feels like. You know, people are pulling apart. Maybe there's a bit in the political world that, you know, it's portrayed that way in some ways. But when you come to this club, it doesn't feel like that. Everyone feels like they pull together, like you say about the volunteers. In the time I've been coming down here, no one goes, oh, not. It's, and they want to do more. And they're encouraging other people to come and volunteer. And that says a lot about the culture and a lot about where the club's been. And it's in real good hands as well. The future's looking fantastic, isn't it?
It is looking wonderful. There's lots of fires in. Irons in the fires, aren't there? But, you know.
A new idea, sadly, for other people at the club comes into my head every day. And if 100 ideas come in my head, 99 are usually rubbish and one is actually half decent and we crack on with it. But I just think that, you know, we were talking before about those different pathways. And I know within the podcast we've had a number of different people coming on to highlight the pathways. But we've always had a culture at the football club of we don't want to say no to anybody. So if there's an inquiry about I want to play football or I want to be part of something, then the answer is yes. Let's find a way of doing it. And I think as we've kind of gone on that journey over 30 odd years, which is frightening to say out loud actually, because I played back then 30 odd years ago.
You and Michael, our son, were playing with the first teams that came here. Yeah. You know, so it was, you've known it right from the beginning, haven't you? And your brother referees, so you've also...
It's been a family affair, definitely.
You're also forgetting is that they also get people to go on courses to do different jobs within the club, to do the refereeing, to do the coaching. So they've given opportunities that probably wouldn't have entered people's heads. And it's new outlooks and it's taken people much further than they would have done by themselves.
And what I didn't appreciate, actually, now you've just said that, you've triggered a thought in my head. Latterly, we've actually managed to put, some of our coaches have progressed and gone on to get a living out of the sport of football. So a lad that I used to coach with, Matthew, he's now working at Wrexham's Academy.
Wow.
He hasn't seen Deadpool yet, but he's, you know, he promises me he's working hard and we're really proud of that. Another lad that coached at the football club, Jordan, is also working at a professional club kind of within media. So you kind of look at it and go, and you've highlighted a couple of times that this is not just a junior thing. Well, how fantastic is it that there are players that have come through our system, have wanted to stay involved with the football football club and have, you know, gone on to get the coaching badges, and then actually have decided, well, that's not necessarily just a pastime, a hobby. There's some, you know, there's actually a career in it for me.
Well, you've also had girls who were playing here and at Everton, ladies,
Liverpool,
haven't you?
Yeah.
And Liverpool.
Yeah.
And those are the ones who go out there and say where they've come from, and it's here. So from humble acorns, you've got great big oak trees out there.
Amazing. Those stories are beautiful, right? And I'm sure there will be many more of those coming through. We've had the two young ladies on that are refs as well, Ella and Mia, and they were fantastic. And honestly, listening to them, I reckon they've got if they keep focused and if that's what they want, they've got career in the sport if they choose to, whichever way that is, footballing and or refereeing or coaching.
So it's not just one thing.
No, it's not.
There's lots of other things that I've been able to do. And even if they come here and play football for a while and then see that they like one of the other sports, then they've got that opportunity as well.
Absolutely.
So it's so much more than just a football club, I think.
Yeah,
it is. So let's talk about the King's Award, because that's you know, we are celebrating that. What does that mean for the club? And is there anything we can give as an example? Who else would get this? Who else has been, you know, successful, nominated?
Yeah.
Just to put it into perspective.
I was very privileged last year to actually have, as mayor, we had two organisations in St Helens who received this award. And one of them was Valley Brass Band from Haydock, and the other one was Portico Vine Rugby Club. And the same kind of thing. They have worked so many years. Dave Chadwick had done about 30 years with Valley Brass, brought it from nothing to, you know, award-winning and competition-winning band. And this means that they get that recognition, because the King's Award for Voluntary Service is the equivalent of an MBE that one person would get. And that stays with the club as long as it exists.
Wow.
So we have had another one in Newton and Earlstown, which is Newton and Earlstown Community Group. A few years ago, they were the first one we ever got here. Yeah. And that was such, you know, a great thing to get. That was when it was the Queen's Award then, wasn't it? It wasn't the King's Award. And that was a wonderful thing. And that's grown and grown, because that's another string in the bow here, which you have some input into, because when we have Newton Show, they're the ones who organise all that, don't they?
Yeah.
And you join in that.
We like to have those partnerships.
Partnerships, and they are amazing. Yeah. That it's not just one organisation; they become partnership organisations.
It's not just that as well. It's when you go above that and you go outside and you're talking to people, like the Liverpool County FA people are. And then you tell them, what award have you got? And you can't fail to move you forward, can it? You know, such a great award.
Oh, listen, you know, when people get MBEs, they're celebrated, and, you know, everybody's like clapping and doing, you know, and for good reason. Let's be honest, you know, they're not handed out like sweets. They you know, you've got to have done something. It's
a very rigorous process.
Yeah.
Is it?
It's extremely rigorous.
I think you could
attest to that.
Say a few things about that, what you have to do to get through it.
I remember the first phone call vividly, because, and I hope my boss isn't listening, but I took a phone call perhaps when I shouldn't have done, and they explained the process to me, and I remember putting the phone down going, right, we've got a bit of work to do here. And I'll tell you what the process has done for me, because when you're so full on 100 mile an hour, being chairman of the football club and doing everything else that you do, you very much kind of live in the moment with a bit of forward projection of this is where we want to be in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. But you don't tend to look back and reflect and appreciate actually all those things that we just discussed. So I reference that because as part of the process, very basic online form, then a member of the King's Award gets in touch and arranges a face-to-face meeting. And the timing was perfect because actually the new 3G pitch had just opened. It was just after Christmas when we booked it in, and I and a number of other trustees were in attendance, because I thought, what I want to really highlight here is that there is a diverse bunch of personalities. You know, this is not just a one-man show, right? We could speak about the football club for absolute days and days, as everyone knows, but actually it it was important for them to look at our financial management. It was important to look at our coaching pathway. It was, it was important for people to look at how much safeguarding plays a priority. So we kind of all collated. There was about 6 of us and kind of looked at different roles and responsibilities. I'm not going to say that it was an interview process, but certainly what we had to do was to try and amplify ourselves and why we believe that we are different or even worthy of the nomination, so to speak. And it was a good couple of hours that we were with them. And of course, there was a lot of supporting documentation that we needed, a coach's register, the last set of accounts that we've got, where we spent the money. We broadcast that we're a night partner club, so it's explaining what that means. And it was very, very rigorous. And then we got told, you won't hear anything until October. And I thought, well, October probably means December, right? Because usually when it comes to timelines, you can add a little bit on. And was delighted to get an email in October to say that we've been successful. And if I'm being totally transparent with you and the councillors and all of the listeners here, I didn't feel that we were going to win the award. I believe that there was 13 organisations that were nominated, 14 organisations within the borough that were nominated. And I just felt that we're a football club. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we do it quite well, but we're just a football club. There'll probably be volunteer organisations out there that do X, Y, and Z and do things in different ways. And I always felt that you had to be exceptional to win the award.
You are exceptional.
That's how it was put across. Now, don't get me wrong, I tried to make us sound like we were absolutely exceptional, and it worked. So, but I just felt that there were other organisations out there that perhaps are doing things outside of football that maybe touch other people.
But you're also doing things outside of football.
Yeah.
It's what you do in here for the community as well. For instance, you've got the bonfire nights.
How many years have we been doing that?
So it's things like that, what you're doing as well,
Yeah.
It's not just football.
It must have been very sobering to receive that email and go, wow, we are worthy, and we are exceptional. And almost that recognition that all the effort that goes in and the professionalism, whilst it's a volunteer side of a I was going to say a business, an organisation, it still needs a level of professionalism and transparency and that recognition and verification that we are really good and, you know what, we're really, really worthy of this. That must have, and I don't want to put words into your mouth, Andy, but that must have gone through and gone, wow, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what happened when I received the news. Again, I was working and I got the news through and I was sat in the living room actually, and my wife and child were in the kitchen, and I just went, get in! Right, and then I got shouted at by being too loud because they were watching something in the kitchen, right? So sobering, and got told off basically. Anyway, then when she understood what it was, I must admit I was very emotional because, and I'm not ashamed to admit this to anybody who's listening, I actually shed a tear because, and not for any personal gratification, this is actually for every single member of the football club, whether that's a parent, whether that's a coach, and whether you've been on the committee, whether you've been just someone who's helped at an event, and I include not just everyone that's here present day. I'm talking about anyone that's been on that 32-year journey. There must be in the tens of thousands of people that have been involved in Sunbeam to Newton Willows FC transition, and it's for them. The emotion was for them. Because it's not just any one person that's got this award and recognition, it's everyone that's been part of that process for 30-odd years. I then, after getting told off by the wife, I phoned Councillor Banks, and he was driving at the time, safely, I might add, and he was equally as overjoyed and emotional, and we spoke afterwards, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
It was just
smiling from ear to ear. It's
amazing.
Wonderful. Because it's such a prestigious award, not everybody who is nominated will get this award. And like you said, they've got to prove that they are worthy of having this award. It's not given away lightly. We've had 3 in this borough. That's the whole of the borough in the last 10 years. And generally, talking to other mayors in their boroughs, that some of them are bigger than ours, and they've only had 4 or 5 in a year. But for us to get this here is absolutely stupendous. And I know when everybody gets the knowledge for this club, it's wonderful, because they're always winning awards here. A couple of weeks ago, one of the female coaches, Elaine Cross, won a Lioness Award.
Amazing.
So there's always something coming out of this club that is good.
Just need some league titles now, don't we?
Yeah, that's exactly
something in
right.
football.
You used to. What comes around goes around, doesn't it? You can't win all the time.
No.
And I think it's prevalent. You know, we say they're not handed out lightly.
they're not.
The king and queen aren't going to put their name to things
No.
that are easy to
not
come
worthy.
by, right?
No.
It's, you know, that just doesn't happen. And, you know, Andy saying about you not ashamed to say you're emotional, nor should you be.
No.
You know, there's a lot of time and effort and ups and downs that go with a football club, running it, participating, getting your boots dirty or whatever. There's a lot that goes into it. So to have recognition from the highest level of the head of state in the UK, just let that just sink in. That's you know, there's no one above King Charles, right? Nobody.
No.
Yeah, in
The reality is, though, this hasn't sunk in yet.
No.
And I you know,
Get it.
we've talked within kind of the trustees group, obviously, because we're confined to not releasing this until, you know, this podcast
Was
is
the King's
released.
birthday?
Yes, 14th of November. But I'm allowed to tell the trustees, and obviously they are overjoyed. But I've kind of gone, I don't think we've quite appreciated how big this is yet.
Yeah.
You know, for me, it's now a standard has been set way above where we thought we were. So now we've got to be even more worthy of the standards that we set and actually do more. Like, it's lit a real fire in me now to just go, well, if that's where we are, and I know you could say that's the ceiling, I'm not asking for any other awards, but the reason why I think one of the reasons why we've won the award is because we haven't stood still at any point, and we tried to do things differently with the community in mind. And there will be things that we can do more of, and there will be things that we can do better. So to kind of honour the award, we've got to keep, maintain and exceed those high standards.
I think you've got to understand as well how many people you've actually touched through the football club, how many children you've actually set on the right pathways as well, which is so important as well. And it's getting them to be independent on their own, but to act as a team as well.
Yeah.
And that's so much for life in general as you go along.
You set them a path, you do.
100%. And we've got the standard now. You know, that's the minimum standard that's been set. It's been verified. It's been recognised. You know, there's no going backwards. It's only forwards, right? And I don't think there's anyone around the club that's going to go, oh, we've got to something. It's yes, great. And there'll be some enthusiasm, I know. Yeah. If that short period of time I've been associated with the club, there's real fire and enthusiasm in everybody's tummies. So amazing. I'm going to turn the attention to the councillors a little bit and just ask them, just give the listeners a bit of an insight into what being a councillor in this local area is all about. What drives you? What's the good, the bad and the indifferent?
The good is that you can use your position to help this borough in any way you can, and that's what most councillors do. We sit on committees, we make the future of what is going to happen. It's not always what we would want, but we have to deal with the constrictions that we have. A big problem has been funding. We all know what austerity's cost us these last few years, but we've had to do the best. And St Helens actually has been very innovative. And it's surprising, people outside the borough actually know a lot about us. They think we punch above our weight because we actually do a lot of things. And because we're inside the Merseyside City region, the Liverpool City region, we can also get more done. And St Helens gets, you know, a good proportion because very often our councillors have already got the ideas ready to go. A lot of people, when there is funding available, our councillors and our officers have usually thought about that before it's come, and that's what we try to do. We try to look forward. We try to bring things here that we can. On the other scale, we're helping residents all the time. People come to our surgeries.
You're there to help people if you can.
If we can,
Basically,
so
sometimes you can't, and you've got to tell them that. Unfortunately, you can't help them, but you're there to help if you can.
Yeah, and find somebody who can help if we can't. So that's the thing. We have to be that link to do it. We want the best. That's why at the moment we're one of the very few places who are regenerating both our main towns in this borough. We can't sit still. We have to move forward. If we don't, you can't just leave it, because you won't have anything if you just stand still. It's like we said about the club. So it's a similar type of thing. And all of us go there because we've had the impetus to want to do well for our people in this borough.
Well, that must be refreshing for people, local people, living, working, socialising in the borough, just to hear that from your good selves, because, maybe that message won't get out so often and they might not understand. And it goes back to the power of this football club, that we've got local councillors on the podcast spreading the word and supporting the club and helping get this most prestigious award. And I suppose, Andy, just to make sure I should be remiss of me not to say thank you on behalf of the football club there as well.
Very welcome. It's wonderful.
The St Helens councillors, and in particular the two that are sitting next to me tonight, have been nothing but supportive, magnificent for this football club. There's rarely a week that goes by where I'm not speaking about something football related. And, it's no secret to the listeners, we've got a project going on with King George V playing field, which, you know what, might be okay. We're still waiting. But undoubtedly, we wouldn't even be at this stage without the support of St Helens Council, and in particular, Councillor Banks's. That's a bit of a tongue twister.
Mainly Councillor David.
No, you're not giving yourself enough credit there. Have been absolutely instrumental in that. So not just the King's Award, but actually, what does a councillor do for the football club? Well, there are certain things you have to do to get where you want to be. Without them, we would just be like banging our head against the brick wall. So I can't praise them enough.
Amazing, well said. And I'm sure there'll be, you speak on behalf of many of people in the borough and at the football club. Any final thoughts to leave on? Because it is hard to wrap this up. We could talk for hours because of the momentum, because of the pride. But any final thoughts before we wrap up?
I just want to congratulate the whole setup, because it's changed the lives of a lot of people in this town, and the children especially. And we want a way forward for our children to go on and be successful. And this is the type of club that can help to do that and give them some confidence and strength within themselves to go on and do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, I think we've just pushed it forward, basically. These people have done all the hard work, basically. They've done it, and we've just pushed it forward. But if I can, I'll just leave you with one thing. And it was what was said to me once by somebody who'd been at the club for a good while, come through from being 7 years old, and he's now maybe 40ish now. And every time I meet up with that particular person, they actually said to me, do you know what? I don't know where I'd be today if it wasn't for that club. And that says a lot, doesn't it?
That's lovely.
Very powerful.
Yeah, that's powerful.
My final thought really is just to thank every single person that is part of what was Sunbeam in 1992, all the way through to Newton Willows FC as we stand for present day. To reiterate, the award is not for how we are present day, it's because of the lives that we've impacted throughout that journey. So whether you're a parent, whether you're a player, whether you're someone who marks the pitches or puts the roping equipment out or volunteers at the bonfire or does anything that helps make this club what it is, this award is for you. This recognition is for you.
Some lovely words to finish on there. And just, thank you very much, councillors, for coming onto the podcast. I know you're very busy people. It's a privilege and an honour to have you on. And, amazing to everybody at Newton and Willows. And no doubt we'll get you back on the pod very, very soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers.
If you enjoyed that episode, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button, like it, love it, share it. If you want to come onto the podcast, drop us a note on all the socials, or if you want to nominate someone coming on, that'd be amazing. We've got some amazing guests coming up again soon. Newton and Willows FC, Forza Newton.